Did my first Sunday night auction yesterday. Saturday night, sorry. And Sunday collection. Won't be doing it again in a hurry. Waited half an hour to actually get seen to. But we did get 2 aircon units, this being the first one. Just powered it up. It's come with the hose and the fitment, no remote. But the compressor doesn't seem to start up at all. So I'm just going to take it apart and see what we can do with it. A nice feature on this is slide out grills for the filters. It's quite handy. It's a 9,000 BTU unit, this one. It all looks new. But as I say, the compressor doesn't kick in and it sounds like there's a screw rattling around inside. Let's take it apart and take a look. 3 screws out the back. Lets me lift the top off. Got a couple of plugs to disconnect on that panel and then we can get rid of the top. These side covers just have a little rubber bung in. I'm just going to prise that out to get to the screw on both sides. So you can see the screw behind there. I think we've exposed all the screws we need to take now. This tape does sort of seal the unit a little bit, I think, but obviously I don't want to damage it. I'm just going to remove that side and leave this side intact, I think. Peeled it back a little bit, just allow the components to separate. I'll do the same on the other side. I'm going to take the anti-tamper screw out of the power plug as well first, and then we'll just go round and take the rest of them out. 2 there, 2 there, 2 at the top and the 2 at the sides, and then we should be able to take the cases off. You can sometimes get these like that, just with a small blade in there. They're not too tight normally. And 2 sneaky ones at the front. And 2 more sneaky ones on the side at the bottom. Once we've got that off, side panel, I get inside 2 screws to take the front off. Okay, so now we've got the unit apart. We can see all looks okay. All looks okay. And I know, what have we got there? A capacitor to start the compressor. Loose and flopping around. That should be mounted in there. Okay. So I think first thing we need to do is test that compressor. For which you need to be extremely, very careful. That could have potentially lethal voltage in it. So we do have to be really careful with this. And we've just found the screw to locate that in there. That plastic should just right, so I'm just going to get that plastic cover off, make sure there's no voltage in there. So taking the cover off that, everything's still connected. I'm just going to measure the voltage on it and see if there is any, so we know it's safe. Okay, so set you up so that you can see the meter and the probes. You can see that there's no DC volts in there. And there's no AC volts in there, so we've got a safe capacitor. Okay, I've just swapped that capacitor over. I'm just going to plug it in and see if the compressor will start up now. Okay, so we've got power. I'm going to turn it on and put it into dehumidifier mode, which should start the compressor. Let's give it a go. We're in dehumidifier mode, so that compressor should be coming on now. Let's just give it a minute and see if it does. If it doesn't do it now, we will check the relay inside the electronic control box and just make sure that's doing what it needs to do. I don't think that's coming on. So on nearly all of these units, this is the control box where all the wires are. Just normally held in with one screw. This one. Excuse me. And then we should be able to slide this out so we can take a look. Now I am just going to remove the mains wiring clamp. You can see the box there and where it actually sits, but we've got these wires going into it and these, which makes it a bit stiff to get out, so I'm just going to remove that clamp. So I've taken the clamp off. It's given us a little bit more movement. We should be able to take that out, although it is very tight. Now we can take the lid off here so that we can have a look inside while it's still in situ. And we can see in there the red wire, which should go live when it's asking for the compressor to come on. So we can test that and see if it's going live. Again, we need to be really careful when we do this, but we are looking for this red wire to have power on it to make sure that it is getting sent to the compressor. Right, okay, I've got my probes on the power that goes to the compressor. So if I plug the unit in, and we switch on, we can see if there's any power being sent to that compressor. I'm going to turn it on and put it into dehumidify. No voltage being sent to the compressor. So it's not getting a switch on signal from the unit. So the first thing that I want to check is inside that box, and that's the actual relay. And we can check a few more components on there as well. So I'm going to take that box out of the unit and take it inside and put it on the bench. I'm also going to change that capacitor back as well for the original one that was in it, because we know that that's not the issue now. I have unplugged the unit So now we can work on getting access. We take these two connectors that come through this door on it, we can slide it out and then take a look at the others that are coming into it. Okay, so we haven't got an awful lot. The main earth, I wonder if actually there is a fuse there. I wonder if that fuse, let's remove what we can and it clears it up a little bit. So let's take the connector out for the fan. That's the fan motor out of the way. The incoming neutral and live can stay on because we're going to need those to test it. Okay, this incoming earth we can just snip for now, and so the only connectors that we have are two neutrals live to the compressor. Okay, we can fix that. Right, let's take it on the bench and go take a look. Okay, I've been doing a little bit of fault finding on this and have discovered where this ribbon cable goes on. It's upside down at the minute, but we can see we've got 5 volts and ground which goes up to the control panel. We've also got fan low, fan high and compressor. Now I've just bridged the compressor with a switch, and the compressor actually works when I close the switch. So it's looking like it's something on the control panel side of things which isn't turning the compressor on, which is good news because the compressor works. That's all okay. So I can see I've got a couple of sensors in there. So I think I'm going to take that board off and measure the sensors, see what they're going to, and see if they're working correctly. Okay, so the first one just looks like a temperature sensor. So I would imagine as the temperature changes, this reading is going to give an ohms resistance that changes. So let's try that out. Okay, so we've got a reading 1566 at the minute. Let's turn the heat gun on. So we can see that is changing. That is altering. Now I do have another one here as well. Bear with me. Okay, very quickly, just before the battery runs out on this, I think we've found what the issue might be. Temperature's only 12. I'm down to 11 now because obviously it's cold out here. When I use the heat gun to make the temperature go above 18, the compressor starts up, and obviously we can't get it to do aircon things because it's below the 18 temperature anyway. So I think this one's fixed. I want to be extra careful with these now before I sell them. This aircon unit, I know it's working okay, but I want to try it in dehumidifier mode as well. So our utility room, as you can see, with the dryer on, gets a lot of condensation. That window would normally be fully steamed up, but we're going to just put the dryer on. I am going to turn the aircon unit on and put it into dehumidifier mode and just leave it running, so we'll get a nice time lapse hopefully. So we can see the unit works. I'm going to empty it in a moment and we'll see after one session of the tumble dryer how much water it's actually got. Just to absolutely 100% prove that it is definitely working okay. Okay, let's have a look how much water the unit has accumulated after running just one cycle on the condenser tumble dryer. It works. Wow. So that is one cycle with the condenser tumble dryer, and all that would have previously gone in the walls and made everywhere damp. So definitely working, definitely worth running one in any room where you've got a problem with moisture.